Kael Everhart was born under a sky choked with storm clouds. It was an omen. At least that's what the village gossips whispered. He was the only son of the famed sorcerer, Darius Everhart. Everyone expected greatness. They were sorely disappointed. Darius Everhart was a legend. He was known throughout Eldoria for his mastery of fire magic. Kael, however, struggled to conjure a spark. His magic was weak, flickering like a candle in the wind. He was a disappointment to his father and a source of amusement for his peers. Kael trained relentlessly, pushing himself to the limit. He wanted to earn his father's respect. He wanted to prove the doubters wrong. But no matter how hard he tried, his magic remained frustratingly weak. He was a shadow of his father's legacy. At the age of 14, Kael was sent to Ignis Academy. It was the most prestigious magic school in Eldoria. It was here that he would face his first true test. The trial by fire was a rite of passage, a way for young sorcerers to prove their worth. The trial was held in the heart of the Obsidian Mountains. The air crackled with raw magic. Kael stood before the Council of Elders, his heart pounding in his chest. He closed his eyes, focusing on the flow of magic within him. He tried to conjure a simple firebolt, a basic spell for any aspiring sorcerer. The other students laughed. Kael's face burned with shame. He had failed. Just as he was about to give up, a terrifying roar echoed through the mountains. A horde of monstrous creatures, drawn by the raw magic of the trial, descended upon the academy. Panic erupted. The students scattered, their screams echoing through the night. Kael stood frozen, paralyzed by fear. He watched in horror as the monsters tore through the academy's defenses. He was about to meet his end. A monstrous claw lashed out, aimed for Kael's heart. Suddenly, a surge of power unlike anything he'd ever felt surged through him. He effortlessly deflected the blow, his hand crackling with an inky black energy. The monster recoiled, fear flickering in its eyes. The black energy spread, enveloping him in a chilling embrace. He felt no fear, only a cold, calculating power. He fought back, his movements fluid and deadly. The other monsters, sensing the dark energy emanating from him, fled into the night. Kael collapsed, the strange energy receding like a tide. He was alive, but at what cost? News of Kael's survival and his display of power spread like wildfire. He was no longer the laughingstock of Ignis Academy. He was a mystery, feared and respected in equal measure. He was offered a place at Arcadia Academy, a secret institution that trained those with exceptional magical abilities. At Arcadia, Kael trained harder than ever before. He honed his skills, mastering spells that would take others years to learn, yet he was haunted by the events at Ignis Academy. He was plagued by strange dreams, whispers of an ancient power that slumbered within him, a power he couldn't control. He buried himself in his studies, desperate to understand the source of his dark power. He devoured ancient texts, searching for answers. The more he learned, the more he feared the truth. The power he wielded was not of this world. It was something ancient, something sinister, something demonic. Years passed. Kael excelled at Arcadia. He became a formidable sorcerer, his skills surpassing even his father's, but the darkness within him festered, a constant threat to his sanity. He kept it hidden, a secret shame he dared not reveal. During a high-stakes combat trial, Kael faced his greatest challenge yet. His opponent was a master swordsman, his blade a blur of steel. Kael fought valiantly, but he was outmatched. Just as the swordsman was about to deliver the killing blow, the dark power surged forth. The air crackled with unholy energy. Kael's eyes turned pitch black. His opponent stumbled back, his face contorted in terror. The other students watched in horrified silence as Kael, consumed by the darkness, defeated his opponent with terrifying ease. His secret was out. Section 6. The Lonely Path of Ascension. The revelation of Kael's demonic heritage sent shockwaves through Arcadia. Some demanded his immediate expulsion, others argued for his execution. Kael, racked with guilt and shame, was prepared to accept his fate. But the headmaster, a wise old sorcerer named Eldrin, saw something different in him. He saw not a monster but a tormented soul. Eldrin offered Kael a choice: embrace the darkness and become the harbinger of Eldoria's destruction, or master it and become its protector. Kael chose the latter. He vowed to suppress his demonic instincts and use his power for good. He embarked on a lonely and perilous journey, seeking ancient artifacts and forbidden knowledge to help him control his powers. He traveled to the far corners of Eldoria, facing treacherous beasts and battling powerful sorcerers. He honed his skills, pushing himself to the brink of madness. He was determined to atone for his heritage, to prove that even a demon could be a force for good. Section 7. A Flicker in the Darkness. Years of relentless training and self-imposed exile took their toll on Kael. He became a shadow of his former self, haunted by his past and the constant struggle against the darkness within. Just when his resolve began to waver, he met Seraphina. Seraphina was a young sorceress, her heart filled with kindness and compassion. She saw past Kael's demonic heritage, recognizing the good that still resided within him. She became his confidant, his anchor in the storm. She helped him to believe that redemption was possible, that even a demon could find love and acceptance. Their bond deepened, blossoming into love. Seraphina's love gave Kael the strength he needed to continue his fight. He was no longer alone. He had found something worth fighting for. He would protect Eldoria not just for himself, but for Seraphina, for their future. Section 8. The Serpent's Kiss. A shadow fell over Eldoria. A powerful demon lord known as Malkor the Defiler had returned from the abyss, intent on conquering the mortal realm. Kael knew that he was the only one who could stop Malkor. He had spent his life preparing for this moment. He gathered his allies, the few who still trusted him despite his heritage. Together, they confronted Malkor in a final desperate battle that shook the very foundations of Eldoria. The earth trembled beneath their feet as Kael unleashed the full extent of his power, his dark energy clashing with Malkor's infernal might. Just when victory seemed within reach, Seraphina, her eyes glowing with an eerie light, plunged a dagger into Kael's chest. Betrayal. The pain was excruciating, but it was nothing compared to the agony in his heart. As darkness closed in, he heard Seraphina's voice, twisted with malice. "Foolish demon, you were nothing but a pawn in my master's plan." Section 9. Echoes of the Fallen. Kael's sacrifice bought Eldoria precious time. Seraphina, revealed as Malkor's disciple, was consumed by the demon lord's power, her body becoming a vessel for his will. The battle raged on, but it was a Pyrrhic victory for the forces of darkness. Malkor, now possessing unimaginable power, was unstoppable. In the aftermath, Kael's story became legend. He was remembered not as a demon, but as a hero. The truth, however, remained hidden. Kael's sacrifice had not been in vain. His death had weakened the barrier between Eldoria and the Abyss, allowing Malkor to manifest. It was a calculated move, a desperate gamble. Kael had foreseen Seraphina's betrayal. He had known that his love for her would be his undoing. But he had accepted his fate. He had sacrificed himself, not to defeat Malkor, but to weaken him, to buy time for a true champion to rise. A champion who would inherit his power, his legacy, and finish what he had started.